The investigation began with a passenger manifest that appeared entirely ordinary, but ultimately revealed a contradiction between digital certainty and physical absence. Authorities were investigating the disappearance of Daniel Mercer, a 42-year-old financial consultant whose records indicated he had boarded Flight 782 from Chicago to Amsterdam. Every system agreed on the same outcome. His ticket was purchased, his reservation confirmed, his boarding pass issued, his name listed on the final manifest, and arrival systems marked him as having completed the journey. Yet when investigators requested surveillance footage from the departure airport, the entire assumption collapsed. Across all terminal cameras, security checkpoints, parking areas, and boarding gates, Daniel Mercer never appeared. No vehicle drop-off, no terminal entry, no security screening, and no boarding corridor movement could be found. Despite complete physical absence, digital systems still confirmed his travel, creating a contradiction that suggested either total surveillance failure or systemic manipulation of transportation records. As investigators reconstructed his timeline, they found nothing unusual in his behavior before departure. He attended work, maintained communication, handled finances normally, and made no indication of disappearance. His travel booking followed standard procedures through a corporate account with confirmation emails and check-in records generated without error. However, forensic analysis of account activity revealed unauthorized access from an unfamiliar device connecting to a public network days before departure. Shortly afterward, security settings were altered, notifications disabled, and recovery information changed, indicating silent compromise of his travel profile. Despite this, airline systems continued processing the reservation normally, generating the illusion of legitimate travel progression. Attention then shifted to physical verification at the airport, but surveillance review confirmed total absence of Daniel Mercer in all monitored zones. Interestingly, gate systems recorded a valid boarding skin tied to his reservation, yet no corresponding footage showed him entering the aircraft. The scanner registered the event, but the physical act it represented could not be verified. This discrepancy suggested either manipulation of boarding data or substitution within identity verification systems. Investigators expanded the timeline beyond departure, analyzing baggage and arrival records. Daniel's luggage followed a fully consistent route through screening, loading, transport, and arrival processing, yet when retrieved at destination, it was collected by an unidentified individual whose appearance was partially obscured and behavior suggested awareness of surveillance coverage. Cabin records added another layer of contradiction, as flight attendant confirmed serving a passenger in Daniel's assigned seat, meaning someone physically occupied the reservation despite his absence from all departure records. This indicated that the travel event itself had occurred physically, but the identity associated with it was no longer reliable. Digital forensic examination then revealed post-departure modifications within airline logs, where boarding and manifest entries had been subtly altered in a way designed to avoid detection while reconciling conflicting system outputs. These changes required privileged access, redirecting suspicion toward internal accounts. One contractor with limited administrative privileges showed irregular system activity coinciding with the flight timeline, along with unexplained financial deposits routed through layered transactions. Further analysis linked these movements to broader identity fraud networks, specializing in exploiting trusted travel credentials. Investigators began to understand that legitimate passenger identities were being used as anchors for fabricated journeys, allowing criminals to embed themselves within verified travel records without detection. Daniel Mercer's identity appeared to have been selected precisely because it already existed within trusted systems, making it easier to manipulate than constructing a false identity from scratch. The critical breakthrough came when secondary device data revealed that Daniel's mobile activity had ceased hours before his scheduled departure, contradicting the assumption that he had simply traveled without digital trace. Additional location information pointed toward an industrial area outside the city, where investigators later uncovered evidence suggesting premeditated compromise of his personal data and account credentials. This indicated that the travel booking had been weaponized as part of a larger concealment strategy, where a substitute traveler used forged identity materials derived from Daniel's credentials, while internal systems were manipulated to validate the illusion of his journey. Boarding confirmations, manifests, and arrival records were not reflecting reality, but reinforcing a constructed narrative designed to obscure the actual sequence of events. The investigation ultimately concluded that Daniel Mercer's identity had been exploited prior to flight, allowing another individual to travel under the appearance of legitimacy, while Daniel himself became disconnected from the official record of events. Coordinated enforcement actions led to arrests across multiple jurisdictions, including compromised contractors and members of identity fraud networks responsible for system manipulation and document forgery. Transportation systems were subsequently reviewed and restructured to include stronger multi-layer verification processes, reducing reliance on single-point digital confirmation. The case demonstrated that consistency across official records does not guarantee truth when those records can be collectively manipulated. In the end, investigators were left with a defining realization. The most trusted systems had not failed individually, but had been synchronized into supporting a version of reality that never physically existed. The passenger appeared on every official record, except the one place that mattered most: